Yes, family. Another episode. Born for this. Oh, Born for this community is growing in a crazy way, and I can only say thank you to every single one of you that's showing support, and also thank you to every single one of you that's throwing me hate. Remember, keep sending me all the smoke. Today, I'm gonna get a little bit deep again, and I want to talk about childhood traumas that took me to jail, okay? Because I know many of you struggle with the same thing, and these traumas do condition you in your everyday life and the decisions you make and the way you live your life. So let's start. Since I was very young, I used to, let's say, let's say my household wasn't the most harmonious place to be in. Okay, obviously there was a lot of violence going on between my dad towards my mom, and a lot of bad words were said. I never had a father figure at home. My mother did a lot, worked 16 hours a day and did the job basically with a man and a woman at the same time. We all know not having a father figure at home, it does a lot, and it does have an effect on kids. Doesn't matter if they're boys or they're girls. So this obviously made me try to find my father figure in the streets. My father figure in the streets were normally people like they were basically gangsters, or what I would consider a gangster at the time, which were people who basically were doing no good. People who were selling drugs, taking drugs, carrying firearms and weapons in the street, and I thought that was a cool thing to do. Therefore, I started doing the same. I started trying to act like them because I didn't have a father figure in the home. So obviously, all this escalated, and I started feeling like nobody understood me at home. Everything was negative. If I used to fail an exam, all I used to get is shouted at, fucking beaten the fuck up, and stuff like this. So that doesn't solve anything. That only makes you more aggressive, makes you want to be more in the streets because you feel like the people that's in the streets, they do accept you, they do understand you, and at the end of the day, these are people who have actually gone through similar situation than you. So violence is never really the answer, and it's not the answer with an adult, and it's not the answer with a child. So as we grew up, obviously, then we don't come from money. So where we come from, there is all luxury cars, luxury fucking shops, gangsters, people spending good money. So obviously, we wanted to be like them. So the only way we had to earn a bit of money was basically robbing people. So there was drunk people that used to come for holidays into our area, and us when we were 13, 14 years of age, we used to walk late in the night and see when the people were drunk, just come behind them, boom, hit him in the jaw. They pass out. We just take their wallet, take their phones and stuff, and that was it. So once you start seeing that that actually works and you start having a bit of money, you start finding it normal. So you start finding robbing people normal, you start finding hurting people normal, when it's actually not. Kids, don't do this at home. There is always somebody to talk to that's actually gonna help you. I know that sometimes your parents don't understand you. I know sometimes it feels like no one understands you. But hey, let me tell you something. That will make you the strongest individual you'll ever think of. Okay? People like us have the most talent and have the biggest balls in this life to become whatever we want to become. So don't choose violence and don't choose crime. But in my case, I did. So this started escalating. I started to think this was cool. So the money we used to get from robbing people, and then we started buying drugs to sell. Also, we used to mash paracetamols and stuff like this and sell it to the drunk people. We was basically hustlers, trying to make money from whatever we could. So as I grew, the more time I spent at home, the worse it was. No one understood me. My mother didn't understand me. When I speak to my dad, who was never around, they were not together, no one understood me. The only people that understood me is the people in the streets. So everything just started going further and further, and the amount of drugs we was dealing started increasing. The amount of robberies we used to do also started increasing. I started getting arrested when I was very young, when I was 14, actually, for this exact thing, beating people that were drunk and robbing them. We used to just do all sorts. And I remember being arrested when I was 14, 15, and the police saying to my mom, because my dad didn't used to come around, this kid is gonna end up in jail. You know, he's just gonna spend the rest of his life in jail once he grows up. Blah blah. So obviously, what happened is kept anything that happens just keeps making you angry. No one understands you. No one helps you, and you just keep going on and on and on and doing what you're learning to do. That's the only thing you know how to do by the time. Because obviously school didn't go great. I used to rob people in school as well. I used to just go on behind their little bags and take their phones, all sorts. Everybody hated me. I was basically the black sheep. Now I love to be the black sheep. But at the time, it was not that good. Reality is, we cannot blame our parents and we cannot blame absolutely anyone for these things. Because it's only in us the decision to change, the decision of doing certain things or not. So I do not regret anything that I've done, but obviously I wish I didn't. Doing all those things has turned me into the person I am today, into a person that's able of helping other people and motivating other people through my story in order to change their life and be a better person, no matter your age, no matter where you're from, no matter your gender. And that's just amazing. So I am forever grateful. When I started actually to feel in peace with myself, I started to feel in peace with myself once I forgave everybody. I used to blame everybody else for my problems. I used to blame my father. I used to blame my mother. I used to blame my teachers. I used to blame my ex-girlfriends. Nothing or anyone around me wanted to have me around because I was a scumbag, and it's normal. I had anger problems. I could not control my emotions. I used to absolutely lose it. I used to break glasses with my head. I used to punch walls every single day. It was just a normal thing. So you need to forgive and understand that whoever you're blaming for your problems did the best they knew. If they would have known better, they would have done better. Your mother, your father didn't want to give you a shit life. If they did so, that's because that's the best they knew. Maybe they also have traumas. So your responsibility is to forgive in order to not pass this on to your child or to the people around you, in order for you to live in peace and be able to have a healthy relationship, not only with your partner, but with yourself. I was my biggest enemy. My own mind was my biggest enemy. So when I started realizing this was actually a little short before that I went in jail. But actually, when I was in jail, so all these traumas that I had turned me into that monster. I let these traumas turn me into that monster because I didn't know how to manage my emotions. And I ended up in jail because everything, all the crime escalated so much. Obviously, you couldn't help it. That's the way it had to be. So when I was in jail, I remember I used to pray to God. Please, God, get me out of here. If you get me out of here, this and that. I was never a religious person. When actually God gave me the chance and gave me everything that I asked for, and I was out of jail, I never thought of God again. I never thanked God. I only used to come to God when I wanted something and when the times were bad. And that's not the way it is. So what happened? Again, through not managing my emotions, through not being grateful, through not having good habits, through not being aligned with myself and being a high frequency, again, I went to jail. Again, when I was in jail, what did I do? Again, I started praying to God. Please, God, if you get me out, this, and that, every single day, I used to pray. I used to get on my knees. I used to do all sorts. Even though I wasn't following an exact religion, but I used to go to God. Remember, guys, God is inside every one of you. God is inside every one of us. Is here. Is here. Is everywhere. You want to call it however you want to call it. Conscience, universe, God. God is in every single one of us. And there is a connection between us humans and God or universe. What the fuck was that? We are highly connected. And what does that depend on? The frequency we are vibrating in. What does the frequency we are vibrating on depend on? How aligned we are. What does that depend on? On our habits. What we do when we wake up. What do we think? What comes out of our mouth? What's our actions? All that determines not only your future, but exactly the way your day goes by. So again, second time in jail, I am praying to God again. And again, God gives me the chance for the second time. Again, I'm free when I was looking at big sentences. Again, God gave me the chance of walking away. And what did I do? Never thought of God again. What happened? A week after I got out, I got arrested in the street for firearm possession, which was very similar of why I went in last time. So I actually broke my probation. So I had to go back to jail again. Third time, 1 week after I got out. So I remember being in the cells in the police station. And obviously, every single policeman in the station knew me. Iman, haha, they were laughing at me. You're going back to jail. You only come out a week ago, haha. They were loving it. So what did I do while I'm in the cells, waiting to go to jail, waiting actually to go to court in order to be sent to jail? I start to pray again like a motherfucker. Please, God, if you get me out of here, I promise, blah, blah. And in that second, I said, you are a piece of shit. Talking to myself. Every time you ask something to God is because you're in the shit. And when actually God gives you everything you ask for, you're never grateful. You never think of God if the times are not bad. And I promised, not only to God, but to myself, if I actually made it out of this without going to jail, or even if I went to jail, I said, from now. But again, I was saying, please God help me not go to jail. My daughter, blah, blah, blah. I was really selfish because my actions were not aligned with my thoughts and with what I was saying. Long story short, God saved my ass one more time. From this day, every day I wake up, the first thing I do is say, thank you, God, for everything that I have. Thank you, God, for every single challenge that I have, because it's only making me stronger. And whatever it is, I will come back stronger than ever. You need to always be grateful to God or to the universe. You have to be grateful. First of all, because no matter how bad you think your problems are, there is someone somewhere in the world whose problems are much, much worse than yours, and they would love to swap lives like this with yourself and take your fucking problems 100%. Once you start looking at life this way, everything absolutely changes. Since this day, God has kept blessing me every single time. And obviously, since God has been blessing me every single time even more, I am in debt, and it's my duty to give more and vibrate higher every single day. So what do I do? Every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is I write in my gratitude journal. There I manifest everything I want. For the day, I thank God or I thank the universe for whatever I have, even for the problems, so-called problems. They are not problems, they are challenges. And they are there for a reason, in order for you to find a solution and become a better person. Okay? After this, I read, which also highes my frequency. And again, every single situation I have throughout my day, I always think, okay, what is this situation going to teach me? And whatever it is, as bad as it looks, I always say, thank you, God. That's the way you look at life and the way you look at things. Trust me, guys. Try this out and your life will change forever. Don't let it come to a point like me that I had to get stabbed, that I had to get shot, that I had to be in jail twice, arrested a million times, that I had all my family crying every single day, not knowing if I'm dead, if I'm in jail, what's going to happen with me. Don't let it get to that point. You guys are much better than this, and I'm giving you the tips. I have also an Instagram page which I'm going to drop down there in the section, in the description, where I'm dropping free content about how all these habits changed my life. Okay? So guys, please apply this and let me know in the comments how is that working for you guys. Okay? Thank you very much. This is Born for This team, and we only know greatness. And any challenge that we have, we only come out stronger than ever. We got this, guys. Come on. Let's go.